It's opening day! Yay! I am so excited, and I am here to party it up with you on today's Locked On Red Sox.
You are Locked On Red Sox, your daily Boston Red Sox podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Red Sox and a happy opening day. I hope you all took the day off from work because honestly, opening day should be considered a national holiday anyway. Everybody should get today off to just celebrate and watch the best sport in the world. The Boston Red Sox are officially back. Starting today, every game counts until hopefully into November for this team. The vibes are high. The team is ready to go. I am so excited. I'm going to be at the home series next weekend, so I cannot wait. I am absolutely hyped, and I hope you are too. Welcome to today's show. I'm your host, Gabby Maljanian, former ESPN social media associate and current host of the Boston Balling podcast as well. And I am here to bring you the latest in all things Boston Red Sox, Monday through Friday, straight to your favorite podcast feed. And it's free, so you might as well continue to tune in because Locked On is your team every day. Welcome to the show. I can't wait to talk about Red Sox baseball all season long from game 1 to 162 and hopefully witness them making a deep postseason run this year. If you are watching this on YouTube right now, you will know that I am all decked out in my Red Sox attire, got the sweatshirt and the hat going, all of my normal Red Sox decorations behind me on the wall. I am ready to go. So happy opening day from the show to you and from Gabby to you. I hope you're thinking about, as of right now, who's your favorite Red Sox player of all time? Who's the player that made you fall in love with the Boston Red Sox? I posed this question on Twitter the other day, and I got a lot of mixed answers. Pedro Martinez, Big Papi, Carl Yastrzemski, Fred Lynn, Marcelo Meyer, which was an interesting one. And he shared a story of how he was able to buy a signed Marcelo Meyer baseball. So he's really looking forward to seeing him play. And he absolutely crushed it this spring. So hopefully he'll be able to get called up at some point this season to contribute on the major league team. So if you're on YouTube right now, please let me know in the comments who your favorite all-time player is for the Boston Red Sox. There are so many options to choose from, so many just legends who have come through this Boston Red Sox organization. And the reason I go back to that is because it can connect to the Red Sox and opening day this year, because then we can look at the roster we have in front of us right now and think about how some of them could be some of the best Red Sox players to ever play once their careers are over. And that's a really exciting possible future. So I'm going to be going over the 26-man roster that the Red Sox have kind of set as of right now. Now, not to mention that this can't immediately change a few hours from now before the Red Sox play their game, like a Chase Anderson situation when the Red Sox randomly picked him up right before the season and he got added to that roster. But the 26-man roster that the Red Sox will take to that opening series today, and one of the biggest pieces of all of this is that Alec Cora has officially announced that Rafael Devers will be the full-time designated hitter. And we all saw this coming as a huge possibility when they brought in Alex Bregman. And I think there were a lot of people who felt like maybe there was a shot that the Red Sox would have Bregman play second base and keep Devers at third. And then as the offseason progressed and the team went into spring training, the Red Sox realized that they really wanted Christian Campbell to be the opening day second baseman. And I think that was originally the plan to begin with, that they were going to reward him with that opening day nod at second. But there could have been circumstances that changed that, like if he got injured or if they just truly felt like he wasn't ready. So they weren't ruling out the possibility of Alex Bregman playing second base, but I truly do believe that this was their plan the whole time and that they were just waiting to finalize that until they felt confident enough in their decision to say, yes, Christian Campbell has been playing well enough to be called up and be part of the opening day roster at second base. So I am so excited to see how that all plays out. I talked about it on yesterday's show a little bit, how Rafael Devers playing more of a full-time DH role, I think will help him a lot mentally because he won't have to dwell on defensive errors and he'll only have to focus on hitting. And I think he's going to see a surprise drastic improvement in his game and his offensive numbers because he's not also having to play defense. So you'll start to see a difference there. But that is the most notable news, is that Alex Cora officially announced that Rafael Devers is going to be the full-time designated hitter. And another announcement that he did make that's pretty substantial is that Aroldis Chapman is going to be the team's closer. This was a question that I wasn't really sure was going to get answered before opening day because the Red Sox had several options of pitchers that they thought could be seen as fit to pitch those ninth innings. But then as the spring continued to progress, Aroldis Chapman was kind of separating himself from the pack a little bit in terms of his ability and the way that he was throwing. And it kind of made the Red Sox decision a little bit easier to say, okay, we're going to make Chapman our closer. So that was definitely a bit of a surprise to me. Not that it's Chapman, because I think out of that group, he did have the best spring, and that group really entailed him, Liam Hendricks, and Justin Slayton primarily. And I think they weren't fully closing the door on Garrett Whitlock closing, but those were kind of the primary three that they were trying to see what they could do in that closing capacity. And out of those guys, Chapman looked the best in the spring. So the Red Sox decided, okay, he's going to be our closer. Alex Cora did say that there will be times when he pitches in the eighth inning if that's what's best and that's what the Red Sox see fit, but primarily he's going to be the ninth inning guy. So those are decisive decisions that the Red Sox have made. And I mentioned on the show the other day that the roster decisions would play out over the next few days. And now here we are, and we have the second base question answered because Christian Campbell's going to be starting in that spot. We have the DH question answered as to who's going to be primarily playing in that spot, and that is going to be Rafael Devers and how they're going to be handling that situation with Bregman, and Bregman will start the season at third base. And then the question becomes, what about Masataka Yoshida? He is starting the season on the injured list, so they don't really have to handle that situation right away, but when he comes back, they are going to have to address that. Does he spend time in the outfield? Does he just get less reps in general? So lots of things that they as a team will still have to figure out when it comes to him when he comes back. But I wanted to talk a little bit about what this 26-man roster could look like for the Red Sox, because they had a lot of decisions that they had to make over the course of this offseason. So starting with the pitching staff, they have 13 pitchers that are on that 26-man roster in Garrett, Crochet, Tanner Houck, Walker Buehler, Richard Fitz, and Sean Newcomb. Those five are going to presumably be, in that order, the 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 starters, at least until Brian Bayo, Cutter Crawford, and Lucas Giolito come back, all of which are starting the season on the IL. So if you take Crochet, Houck, Buehler, Fitz, and Newcomb definitely earned it. Fits between the few starts he made at the end of last season into spring training, and also Sean Newcomb with the spring that he had. Those guys are going to contribute. And even if they are not great and they are guys who can just get the job done and stay afloat, Brian Bayo should be coming back in the very near future. And then Giolito and Crawford aren't expected to be out for a very long time either. So if they can just tread water with those guys until they come back, that would be ideal. So that's the starting rotation that we are presumably going to see to start the season. And then they'll make moves based on what happens when the other pitchers come back, and they'll decide if maybe they want to send them to AAA or DFA them or just have them pitch out of the bullpen. That's kind of the choice that the Red Sox need to make. But then there is the bullpen, and there were decisions that needed to be made on that because as of a few days ago, there were still a few vacant spots in the pen, and it seems like the Red Sox have pretty much rounded out the bullpen to the best that they could. And that bullpen includes 3 lefties in Brennan Bernardino, Justin Wilson, and Aroldis Chapman. They definitely decided ultimately that they wanted to add another lefty to the pen because it came down to potentially Bernardino or Cooper Criswell. And the benefit that Criswell would have brought is that the Red Sox have seen him in both a starting capacity and a relieving capacity last year. So he could have been used as more of a longer reliever who's used to pitching more innings. So that would have been the benefit to having him. But I think the Red Sox ultimately decided that it would serve them better if they gave Brennan Bernardino that spot so they could balance out the bullpen with another lefty. So you have Bernardino, Hendricks, Chapman, Kelly, Weiser, Wilson, Whitlock, and Slayton. Those are the guys out of the bullpen that will pitch right now. So now just to break that down a little bit even more, you have the lefties like I just talked about, but then you have Zach Kelly and Greg Weiser, both of which struggled last year a bit. So I definitely want to see some improvement from them. I am a little bit concerned about what they're going to bring to the table from a consistency standpoint because Weiser in some areas was one of the best relievers the Red Sox had. And in other areas, he was just so inconsistent and unreliable. So I really want to see the Red Sox gain that confidence for him and help him to elevate his game a little bit more because we are going to need that consistency out of the pen. Then you have Justin Wilson, who the Red Sox acquired this offseason. He's definitely somebody who I'm concerned about. Didn't have the best numbers on the mound coming into Boston, and he didn't look great in the spring, but I think the Red Sox do feel like there's potential there for him to be able to be a serious contributor out of this bullpen. And obviously he does provide versatility. And there's Garrett Whitlock, who the Red Sox have had make some starts, have had pitch in the pen. He said that he wants to pitch in the bullpen this year. The Red Sox were in agreement on that and said he's going to be a reliever. So you have Whitlock in the mix too, who hopefully will bring his best stuff now that he's healthy, because I've always felt like he brings his best stuff when he's pitching in the pen as opposed to in the rotation. So now that he's healthy, I'm hoping that he can translate all of that with pitching into the bullpen again and bringing his best stuff so that he can be absolutely lethal for 2, maybe 3 innings out of the pen. Justin Slayton, who I mentioned briefly earlier, is also on this roster. He was arguably the Red Sox best reliever in 2024. He was a guy who proved that he can pitch in high leverage, proved that he's not going to back down from challenges, and proved that he can push through pressure when he's out there. So they could definitely use Justin Slayton in an 8th inning type of capacity as the bridge guy to Aroldis Chapman if they want to, if it's a close game. I could see Slayton being used as that primary bridge guy. Maybe he switches with Chapman here and there, but I'm definitely looking at Slayton as a high leverage reliever for this team this year. Liam Hendricks definitely showed some concerns in spring training. Definitely didn't have a lot of command. His fastball wasn't really traveling fast enough. I still feel like there's a chance he could increase that and have the fastball go a little bit harder and faster. But the problem is going to be for him if he can't do that, he could get absolutely shelled in this bullpen. So things could go several different ways for Liam Hendricks. And I'm really hoping that for his sake and everything that he's been through and being able to bounce back and come back to baseball with how much he's just been dying to be out there, I'm really hoping that he goes out there and shoves, because it's hard not to root for somebody like him, especially if you're a Red Sox fan, but just in general, even if you're a fan of another team. He's just one of those players that just plays the game the right way and is just a great role model for resilience and overcoming obstacles. So I'm really excited about Hendricks and his personality and what he provides to the clubhouse. We just need to hope that he's able to clean some things up so that he can be a reliable reliever out of the bullpen, because the Red Sox have definitely been waiting for him to make his debut with the team for a while. So there you have it with the pitching staff. That is generally what things are looking like for the beginning of the season. Coming up, I'm going to be talking about other areas of the roster that the Red Sox have finalized. Baseball season is in full swing, and there's no better way to get in on the action than with Prize Picks, the best place for daily fantasy sports. With Prize Picks, you pick more or less on at least 2 player projections, and if you're right, you can win up to 1,000 times your cash. Whether it's strikeouts, RBIs, or first inning runs, Prize Picks keeps every game exciting. This week, I'm picking Aaron Judge for more than 1 home run and Shohei Ohtani for more than 1 stolen base. It's that easy. Download the app today and use the code LOCKEDONMLB to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONMLB for $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. Run your game. Get the supplies you need from the site made for the skilled trades, Supply House. Whether you're in plumbing, HVAC, or electrical work, Supply House is the reliable way to order products online. Their easy-to-use website is packed with helpful resources and the latest product info to help you get the job done right. Plus, with a complete inventory of over 200,000 parts from 400 plus top brands, you'll find exactly what you need. Delivered fast from coast to coast. Need help with an order? Supply House offers expert support and industry-leading service, so you'll always talk to a real person. And for trade pros looking for an extra edge, their free TradeMaster program offers exclusive perks like a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts on every order. Thousands of skilled professionals are already taking advantage. Now it's your turn. Join the TradeMaster program today at supplyhouse.com/TM and start ordering plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies with just a few clicks. Please use promo code SH5 for 5% off your first order. That's supplyhouse.com. Happy opening day, Red Sox fans. I am so excited to go on this journey with you and just go along for what should hopefully be a fun ride for this Red Sox team heading into 2025. I cannot wait. And I am so excited to be able to experience a team that feels really fresh compared to last year and just feels like a breath of fresh air. And when you have a team like that has good clubhouse vibes and lots of players who can serve as really strong mentors and leaders, you're going to have a good attitude for the season. And that naturally should hopefully help elevate this team and help them to win more baseball games. And that's exactly what I am looking for from them, just to win baseball games and have fun with it. And this is a great group that I'm really looking forward to. And while I'm breaking down the 26-man roster, we did talk a lot about the pitching staff and what that's going to look like. There are definitely still some question marks in the bullpen between Brennan Bernardino, who struggled last year, Zach Kelly and Greg Weiser, who also struggled last year, and Justin Wilson, who struggled before coming to Boston. I would say those 4 guys in particular, I would definitely be wary of when it comes to the bullpen. And Liam Hendriks is also a question mark at this point. So it's definitely a bit of a concern when you have guys in the bullpen who are question marks. So things could really go either way for this bullpen. Either they completely fall apart because the guys are not reliable enough, or they just all surprise us and they pitch really well. But time will tell on that. So then moving over to position players, the Red Sox do have Connor Wong and Carlos Narvaez as their 2 catchers. Now, the catching situation was definitely interesting because when the Red Sox traded Kyle Teel to get Garrett Crochet, the question was going to be, what does the future at the catching position look like? And it's still a prevalent question as to what they're going to do long-term about their catching situation. But I wasn't sure if they were going to go out and acquire a higher-end catcher who was on the market to basically serve as that number 1 catcher, to say that they got somebody to replace Kyle Teel because of the talent level that he portrayed in the Red Sox farm system. But instead, they didn't really do that. They made some minor moves for catchers, but they really sent a message that Connor Wong is the number 1 catcher, and the Red Sox really do trust that he can still be that guy. And while I like the confidence that they have in him, I also do worry that it's a little bit too much confidence. Yes, he had a good bat in 2024, but the question with that is, does he maintain that, or did he just have a really strong season and he is just feeling confident going into 2025, but his numbers are going to drop down again because that's not really the hitter that he is. So I do worry a little bit about that. And his defense is a concern. His defense is something that noticeably last year was rough. I mean, behind the plate, he could not protect that baseball. And I'm looking to Carlos Narvaez to step up in that way, because the reason that the Red Sox made him the backup catcher in particular is because he portrays really good defense. That's what he's known for. Makes some very nice stops behind the dish and was able to absolutely gun down a couple base runners trying to steal second base. And he has an absolute cannon of an arm in that regard. So having Narvaez back there to help complement Wong should hopefully help take away a little bit of the defensive struggles in general, because you just kind of have to know that when Wong is out there, he might struggle defensively, but then you bring in Narvaez, who shouldn't struggle defensively, and then it almost feels like you are balancing it out a little bit, because Wong will probably provide more of the offense, whereas Narvaez provides more of the defense. So hopefully that is what ends up happening, because we can't really go through the entire season with bad defensive catchers for both of them. So that's what Narvaez brings to the table that I feel like the Red Sox can be really excited about. 7 infielders / designated hitters. Tristan Casas, who obviously will be the everyday first baseman. I think he is out for blood this year after all of the trade rumors surrounding him this offseason. If I were him, I would be mad and feel disrespected. And if I saw fans on social media saying that they wanted me traded, I would feel very offended. So if I'm Tristan Casas, mentally I'm saying, okay, I'm going to go and prove these people wrong, and I'm going to have a 40 home run season, and I'm going to just absolutely go off and be in the all-star conversation. Plus, on top of that, you add the fact that he is coming off of an injury that led to him missing most of the season last year. So he definitely wants to make sure that he maximizes the opportunity this season to go out there and be one of the best offensive players on this Red Sox team. So we will see Tristan Casas presumably every day. And I think you should be excited to see him, because I think he's coming out there wanting to prove something this year. And a player who really wants to prove something, those can be the most dangerous players out there. Christian Campbell, who was officially announced to have made the roster, he will start the season at second base. And for the longest time, there was uncertainty here, because obviously you had the Alex Bregman factor, but you also had other young Red Sox players who were making a case for being the opening day second baseman. One of those was David Hamilton, who just is a super versatile baseball player. He's super fast, so he can steal bases easily. He showed a really good offensive ability in the spring and a really good defensive ability. And last year with David Hamilton, I felt like he still could have used some work in his entire game, but I feel like he took a step up in the spring, and hopefully we'll be able to unlock some more aspects of his game that we didn't really see last year. But the Red Sox decided they want to use him as more of a utility player, and then they decided Christian Campbell will be the opening day second baseman. Marcelo Meyer was another player who ended up in that conversation, because even though we've always known Meyer to be a shortstop, the Red Sox were starting to maybe consider having him start the season at second base, because even though that's not his position, he was absolutely mashing baseballs in spring training. So if the Red Sox felt like they had more confidence in him being on the opening day roster than Christian Campbell, then they would have considered putting him at second base. But I think ultimately what it came down to is the Red Sox were too nervous to do it with Meyer, because he hasn't taken a single at-bat with the Woo Sox yet. So hopefully if he takes some at-bats in Worcester, then he can get called up at some point during the season, whether that's if Trevor Story gets injured or he's just having a monster year in AAA and they want to give him a shot, then they find a way to give him a shot. But ultimately, they made the decision on Christian Campbell. He is going to be the opening day second baseman, with the obvious, as you guessed it, Trevor Story at shortstop. I mean, I am just dying for a full healthy season of Trevor Story, because ever since coming to Boston, he has just been battling injury after injury and has not been able to really showcase the type of player that he can be for this team. He obviously serves as a great mentor for some of the younger players and has been really working with guys, and his defense is top notch. We do need that defense in the Red Sox middle infield. So I'm hoping Story can really step things up this year in terms of being able to continue to hold that infield together, but we also need to get the productivity from him at the plate. And that's where his elevation of his game can come in this season, is can he find a way to be more consistent offensively and get more hits and drive in more runs so that the Red Sox can feel confident that they have a guy at shortstop who they'll have for the next few years and will be reliable. Because if he struggles again this year at the plate, there's going to start to be conversations of, can we trust him? Can he be relied upon? So I'm really hoping that Story is a guy who the Red Sox can rely on this year. Big season for him. Then there's Alex Bregman, who will be the opening day third baseman. Obviously, was a big topic of discussion because when the Red Sox signed him, everybody was really excited, but then it became about where is he going to play. So he's going to start the season at third, and I'm sure he'll give Devers some pointers along the way. This isn't to say that Devers will never play third base again, but I think having a guy who's undeniably a much better defender coming off of a Gold Glove, it makes a lot of sense to have Bregman start the season at third base. So I'm looking at the Red Sox middle infield, and that's significantly better than it was last year in terms of the infield defense. They made a lot of errors in the field last year, and I'm hoping that that gets improved with this group of guys that is standing in the Red Sox infield. So I definitely like those moves and the way that they have this set up. And then in terms of other infielders / designated hitters, they have Rafael Devers, David Hamilton, and Romy Gonzalez, all part of that group. Now, Devers obviously is going to be the everyday DH, like we talked about earlier. But David Hamilton and Romy Gonzalez both are probably going to be used as platoon players, kind of playing where needed. If somebody's hurt, one of them would fill in the infield, or if they want to give somebody a rest day, one of them would come in. And Romy Gonzalez was really good last year, especially in pinch hitting situations. So that could be another area in which they utilize him again in 2025, is for a pinch hit type of scenario for one of the starters in that game based on the matchup and the situation going on in that game. So I'm definitely excited to see more of Romy Gonzalez in 2025, and they can kind of slot him into multiple infield positions because he showed last year that he can do that. And same with David Hamilton, utility guy, definitely will be heavily utilized as a pinch runner with his speed. And I think we could see him switch around a lot. So there are definitely a lot of options that the Red Sox have in terms of their infield. They did option Nick Sogard to AAA, a guy who had gotten called up in 2024 and put together some really good at-bats. So the Red Sox were kind of trying to hold out and see if he's somebody who could be part of that mix to start the season, but he will start in AAA. So you look at the players here, and it's definitely an upgrade from last year, especially in that infield that the Red Sox have going on right now. So that's something to look forward to for sure. And coming up, I'm going to be going over the outfielders that the Red Sox have on the opening day roster because that was a deep position group. Looking for a snack that's both delicious and nutritious? Crack into a good source of protein with Wonderful Pistachios. Wonderful Pistachios is one of the highest protein nuts. Each 1 ounce serving has 6 grams of protein, giving you over 10% of your daily value. Plus, they're packed with fiber and better for you unsaturated fats to help keep you feeling fuller longer. Personally, I love the no shells variety. It's the perfect grab and go snack for busy days. Whether I'm snacking at my desk, on a road trip, or just need a quick protein boost, they're always my go-to. And if you love cracking open every shell for that satisfying crunch, the in-shell options are a classic favorite. Get snacking and get cracking with the snack that packs a protein punch. Visit wonderfulpistachios.com to learn more. They are addicting. I promise you, if you start buying these things at the store, you will not go back because they taste delicious. And you know what also tastes delicious? Fenway Franks on a Friday night watching Red Sox baseball. I cannot wait. I will be at tons of games this year, so please say hi if you see me. I can't wait to watch the Red Sox at Fenway again. I've been passing by Fenway quite a bit lately, and every time I kept saying I miss Red Sox baseball, and now it is finally here. But don't forget that during those winter nights, it gets really cold, so you might want to wear heavy jackets like the sweatshirt that I have on now, but another jacket over it. So welcome back to the show where we are breaking down the 26-man roster that the Red Sox are bringing to that series in Texas. And I am so excited to see Garrett Crochet on the mound today. I just feel like he's going to shove. He's really excited to be part of the Boston Red Sox, and I just cannot wait to see the damage that he does as a starting pitcher for this team. The Red Sox earned it. They have so much depth in their farm system, and they were able to pull off a trade for a guy who could be very good for them for a long time. So I'm really excited about that. But there's another position group that has a lot of really talented players for the Red Sox, and that is the outfielders. There are 4 on the roster right now in Jarren Duran, Cedar Rafaela, Wilyer Abreu, and Rob Refsnyder. And we could have kind of guessed that because the Red Sox had already expressed that they were going to have Cedar Rafaela be in center field for as much as they can because of the fact that he just is a phenomenal defender. So they wanted to utilize that defensive skill in center. So we already kind of knew that. And then Jarren Duran and Wilyer Abreu, it was pretty obvious that they were going to be the other 2 starting outfielders. We weren't sure about Wilyer Abreu for a while because of the fact that he had been battling an illness, but he is ready to go. So those will be your primary outfielders. And then Rob Refsnyder, who hits lefties very, very well, will be utilized in games where there's a lefty on the mound for the other team. And Refsnyder, I really like because he can kind of be thrown into any of the outfield positions. He doesn't have the best defense, but the numbers that he puts up as a hitter against lefties makes it basically impossible to justify leaving him out of the lineup on those types of days. So I think we'll see a lot of him this year. Where does Yoshida fall into that when he comes back from the IL? That's something the Red Sox are going to have to determine. But those 4 outfielders all have the potential to be very good in 2025. Obviously, you have Jarren Duran coming off of an All-Star Game MVP season, and you have a guy who just showed so much versatility and consistency in that leadoff spot, a guy who contributed probably more so than anybody else on the team in 2024. So I'm really excited to see him grow in 2025. Then you have Rafaela and Abreu, both of whom put together impressive rookie seasons for different reasons. I mean, Wilyer Abreu won a Gold Glove last year and really showed off offensively, whereas Rafaela really showed off his defense. Definitely still needs work with his offense, but I think that's something the Red Sox can work with, and he can hopefully continue to grow in that area. But that's a very talented outfield the Red Sox have, and then you add Refsnyder to the mix, and they are in good shape. And I am so excited to see what these guys can do. And not to mention the fact that they have Roman Anthony still in the farm system, who's going to be starting the season in AAA in hopes of being called up at some point. So lots to think about in the future with the Boston Red Sox outfield. But there you have it, folks, a 26-man roster that Red Sox fans should 100% be excited about. These are guys who want to go out there and grind and work. And if I'm a Red Sox fan, I have really good vibes and a really good feeling about this upcoming season. I can't wait to hear and belt out Sweet Caroline in the 8th inning again. I can't wait to get ballpark food and just enjoy the games and just be part of the experience of having baseball back. And just a reminder that I am here Monday through Friday with the latest going on in all things Boston Red Sox all season long. So be sure to check me out on any podcast platform and continue to tune in because I promise we will have fun here. And I do appreciate you making Locked On Red Sox your first listen of the day. So while you're on our Locked On channels, you can next check out the Locked On MLB season previews, which came out earlier in the week on Monday. Every contender, every division, everything you need to know. Find all 6 episodes on Locked On MLB on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. So you can find the AL East division preview there. I was part of it. All of our Locked On AL East division hosts were part of it. And we will tell you why the Yankees will not win the division. And you might be happy with some of the answers that people gave. So I highly recommend you checking that out next. Happy opening day. Like I always say, and it's most relevant today, keep the faith, go Red Sox, and I will catch you on the flip side.